Hey everyone, I want to do a video on the Hytera P682G. This is well, I wouldn't call it the ham version because it goes all the way from 400 to 500 something megahertz, but it is UHF only. And I just got into DMR recently. My ID is KJ4WMQ for amateur radio, and I bought myself a Radio Oddity GD77. That is the dual band DMR radio that they just came out with not too long ago. It's a great radio. It was the first one I got, but I was kind of thirsty for something a bit more professional. And I was told to look at either the Motorola or the Hytera. So I looked at the Hytera P782, and that one seemed like a great buy. However, this one was slightly smaller, had more battery capacity. Actually, it's got 1500 milliamps versus the 2000 milliamps on the PD782. So even at a 500 milliamp disadvantage, this thing lasts a few more hours than the PD782. I kind of prefer the look of it too. I like the metal on the sides here where looks a bit more. They're both durable, but just looks, I guess, more industrial. So but I ended up getting this from Gigaparts for with a discount that I found, and the programming cable, it came out to $396, and that was with the expedited $6 shipping. I really can't complain. I don't do a lot of review videos. The only reason I'm doing this is because when I was trying to get this radio, I try to do my due diligence and do some research, and I came up empty-handed. There were not a lot of research or reviews on this specific model. There were a lot more reviews on the PD782, but for some reason nobody really seems to prefer this one. I don't know why. It's slightly cheaper. The UHF band is a little bit wider than only the ham, but for whatever reason you might need. It lasts longer, and I think it looks better. So, but I ended up going with this one, and like I said, because there was so much lack of reviews for this one, I wanted to give it some pointers and maybe help you watchers decide on which one you want to get. So what I like about this radio, like I said, I have a Radio Oddity GD77. I'll bring it out in a minute and show you guys. And I've also had a Woshun analog dual bander, and they're Chinese made, and I believe so is this actually. But those are the budget entry-level radios. So the second you grab them, they feel very light in your hand. They're a bit more fragile feeling, even though I don't think they are. They are a bit more fragile feeling. It just doesn't have the heft that this one has. So that's a big pro for this one. It feels like an actual professional radio. And the size is nice. It's small. It's very nice to hold in your hand. The PTT is right where it should be, whether you're using it with your thumb or if you're using it with this hand, it's right here. The microphone is right up here, so you talk right into it. The display is nice and bright when you turn it on. I'll turn it on right now so you see what it looks like. It does take a couple seconds to boot up, but I'll go into the things I don't like. That's one of them. So, but the screen is very nice. Menus are nice. I do have this modified so that I have the 25, the wider, I guess, for FM transmitting. I have some contacts saved in here for DMR. The 25 hertz does help. It just gives you the capability to transmit on analog repeaters, which is nice. This is simplex digital channels I have. That's one of the analog ones. I like this repeater down by me because they're all linked. So if I'm talking on one, I'm talking on all of them, I believe. So KJ4WMQ radio check. You can see you got the little RSSI meter right there, which is nice. Really handy for if you're on DMR. That's the repeater that's near me. Let's see if we get anybody. KJ4WMQ radio check. I guess not. I get a very low signal around here too, which is another crappy thing. I just don't get a lot I just don't get a lot of signal quality here. I do want to look at open spot for that specific reason. But so these are the pros about it. The clip is nice too. Now let me talk about the cons, and unfortunately it's many, a lot more than what I like about the radio. I don't have them written down on the list, but I'll go. First one, can you see the screen? Yeah, kinda, if you get it right. If you want to look at that screen, I can't see it now if I look at it directly, not through the screen on my phone, but actually looking at it with my eyeballs, I can't see. I have to hit a button to turn the screen on. So I think that's a problem with all these colored screen LCD radios. You can't see the freaking screen, and I can't stand it. 2, your microphone is right here. Here it is. Okay? So I have my microphone right there. So most people, if I'm talking to it, I want to hear back this way. Well, guess what? Here's the speaker. The speaker's back here. It's actually behind my belt clip. Make sense? Not really. It makes it really hard to talk. So, I don't like that. Really, really annoying. Oh, look, I can't see the screen again. There we go. So, that's number 2 that I don't like about this radio. Number 3, the keys are so sensitive. Oh my goodness. I mean, you have to lock the keypad on this thing. You will hit buttons if it's in your pocket and you have it on the belt clip. And that's the other thing. It's not just the keypad, it's also the push to talk. It's such a sensitive button. And if you see, you have this edge and this edge as a protector so that it doesn't accidentally key up, but it's all uncovered around. So it just makes it so hard to talk. Well, I don't want to say so hard to talk, but it just makes it so sensitive that you accidentally key up, just like I did a second ago. What else? I do like the programming cable. It's a lot more professional than the other ones. But I have to say, the $95 Radio Oddity I have, it doesn't require drivers. It might not be as nice looking, but you just plug it in through the microphone port, and you transfer data. There's nothing else you have to do. You don't have a little rocker switch like this one does between download mode and CPS mode. Audio, very, very low on this thing. If you got this thing cranking, it'll do. I mean, if people don't have their auto gain control on, everyone's about the same. But for the people that don't, that speak quietly, you can't hear anything on this. But my Radio Oddity, you can. If you turn it up, you can hear them. I mean, you have to put this thing next to your ear to make sure you can hear them. Then, of course, the next person comes up.
Kilo Bravo 2, King Ocean Sugar. Kilo Bravo 2, King Ocean Sugar, Northern New Jersey.
Oh, you heard that. That was good audio. I heard it pretty clear. It was loud, too. If they keep talking, you'll see if anyone's coming through quiet. I love the channel selector here. It would be nice if it was on a continuous rotation, so if you have more than 16 channels, I don't know if you can do that with this. You would just keep going around. But it is nice that it remembers where you're at, so if you're on channel 3, for all my repeaters, channel 3 is North America, so no matter what zone I go into, I could go through. You could see the zones changing. Oops, oh, it locked. Look at that. Menu, star. If you keep changing the repeaters, I'm always on North America, which is nice.
Kilo Bravo 52.
Let's talk about, while this is happening, receive and transmit. The receive and transmit is identical to the Radio Oddity GD77. If this goes on, Radio Oddity goes on. If I can transmit through this, I can transmit through the Radio Oddity. So it's very similar. If you're listening really closely, this does have slightly cleaner audio, but just ever so slightly. There's less hiss in the back. With the Radio Oddity, there is some ever so slight hiss in the background, but I never noticed it till I actually compared the two. So Another thing about this, let me throw this in there. I got this from Gigaparts, like I said, and this radio is capable of roaming, which is multi-site IP connect, I think it's called. And what it does is it lets you set, I believe your repeater has to, I guess, allow this or have it turned on or be capable of it. But if you have roaming capability, what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to check the repeater. I believe the repeater sends out a beacon every 30 seconds or 40 seconds, and the radio checks to see which beacon has the best signal, or it keeps that signal going, or it keeps the repeater connection going till about certain RSSI, and then it either drops it and goes to the next one, or it picks the best RSSI available. But long story short, what it does is it connects to the repeater that you can talk through. So if I'm in, let's say, south end of my county and I'm connected to one repeater and I drive up to the north end of the county, ideally it should just keep you connected repeater to repeater by roaming, and you get a little icon here that shows you that it's roaming. Obviously it's not on here, but, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but that's, I believe, how it works. I've yet to try it out yet, and I'll tell you why. So if you get this radio from Gigaparts, you have to have your ham license to turn on 25 hertz spacing and for wideband FM, and also what's the other thing? To have the FPP, which is front panel programming, I think. But while I was looking around in the CPS, I realized that my roaming was not checked and it was grayed out. So I inquired Gigaparts as to why my roaming was turned off. They said that I just have to send them a picture of that screen and my radio's information. They'll contact Hytera and send me an updated firmware, I guess, that has it enabled. I haven't gotten it yet, but they said it takes a little bit, so I'm waiting on that. But once I have that turned on, I'll be looking into the roaming as well. And honestly, the main reason I got this radio was the repeater roaming. I think that's a great feature. I hate going through repeaters. I just want to listen to North America. That's what I want to do. I want to listen to North America, talk to people, and change the channel and talk to someone else on another talk group. I don't want to be changing repeaters. Oh, where am I? I wonder, you know, another good thing about this is that the screen is large, so I'm able to put the name of the city. But if you can't, I can't remember where every single repeater is. K4KPT. I don't know if that's in the north end of my county or the west end of the county. So if it's just repeater call signs, I'll forget. So I like the fact that I could turn one on and just go through and be able to connect to all of them through the roaming feature. Again, if my repeaters in my area support this, I don't know yet, but we'll see. So while talking about this radio, you might have realized I might have said some things that aren't correct, use wrong terminology. I'm not a pro at this. I have my technician license, and I don't know everything, and I haven't been doing this for a while. I got my license in 2010, got out of the hobby in 2011. Now it's 2017. It's been 6 years, so I might have forgotten some things. So please excuse me if I made mistakes. The main reason I made this video is so that someone can see what this thing looks like in someone's hand, see the audio quality, which we've heard, you know, just have someone talk about it. That was the main reason. If you have any questions about this, feel free to put it in the comments and I'll try to answer as best as I can. Now, while we have this here, let me show my other radio, and I have to say, even though this is $400 something, I think I prefer my Radio Oddity GD77, and that says a lot. This isn't a video about that radio. It is about a video about this one, but I have to just show it. So this is the Radio Oddity GD77. You can tell size-wise, they're very, very close. GD77 is a little bit thicker. Antenna is much longer because it is a dual band. It also has VHF, so I'm assuming that's why the antenna is longer. But turn it on. Has a bright screen. That's one of the things I don't like about it. Let me see if I can dim that. Well, I can't dim it, but ironically, you can see the screen a lot better. I mean, because it's not a color LCD. It lights up really nice. You don't need the light to see the screen, which is nice. It saves battery. This, you can't see it. You got to hit the light. You got to hit a button, actually. So, but as you can see with this one, I don't have enough screen space to put the name of the repeater, the city. So I had to really shorten it up. And that allowed me to at least write the first initial letters of the city that the repeater's in, and where the repeater, what talk group I'm talking to. One other thing nice about this is that because it is a dual bander, you have at the bottom your other band, I guess. And this can be FHP. Oh my goodness. Tells you what I do for a living. If you're on VHF, it's on VHF. If you're on UHF, it's on UHF. It's not like the MD 2017 where top is only UHF and bottom's only VHF. You can switch it around, put whatever you want on it. The quality, like I said, is pretty good. I have it on here. I don't know if anybody's talking. Doesn't look like it, but audio is louder with this one. Transmit, receive, they key up the same. But again, this isn't a video about this one. I might do one on this because I haven't seen a lot on this one either. I saw a couple that I didn't really like the way the videos were made. I could barely see it. I was getting a headache trying to watch them. But I just wanted to compare the two just so you can see. Now remember, this does both. This does one. But this isn't waterproof. It's not shockproof. It is $95. This is at the cheapest. You're looking at $350. Usually a lot more if you get it from other dealers. But it is water resistant. It's shockproof. It's very rugged. So you decide which one you want to take. I do have a Woshin. Let me pull that up. Oh God. Oh, here we go. Do you have a Woshin? This is an older radio. I got it in 2010, 2011. Sometime around that era when I had just gotten into the hobby. So I had this with me while I was working during Hurricane Irma. And it fell in the water. It was on top of my car and it slipped. Fell in an area where there was a bunch of water and leaves. See, it got banged up. Still works. You can still talk on it. But the only problem is I don't have the microphone working anymore. So I can listen. I can hit the keypad for DTMF, but I can't talk. So practically became a monitoring analog radio. When I got this, it was $130 something. Now you can get Baofeng analogs for like $35. It's crazy where the hobby's gone. Just to kind of show you with this one too. I mean, hobby's gone so low that you can get a dual band DMR radio that I don't want to say outperform, but performs just as well as this $400, $500, $600 radio. Size wise, you can see that the Woshin is a little smaller. Stick though. But it is analog and it is a 7-year-old radio. I don't know when they came out, but I've had it for some time. So let's put this one away. My initial thoughts on it, I do like it. If I pick up a radio, I want to go somewhere, this is the one I pick up. But honestly, I don't think I take this one with me because I prefer this radio. I take this one with me because it performs like the other one. And I just paid more money for it, so I guess I'm trying to justify it to myself. So, if you want to spend the money and get a high quality radio that could do roaming and all sorts of other stuff, definitely a good radio. If you want to save your money, I would probably look at the TYT MD380 or the TYT MD390, which is the same thing except it's the water resistant one. Brings it somewhat closer to this one. Or the Radio Oddity GD55 Plus. Make sure it's the plus one. And that one is, I think, $95 or something like that. But not only is it water resistant like this one, it puts out 10 watts on UHF. That's definitely something to talk about. I could barely get a signal out here. So if I had 10 watts, I might be able to get my signal out. So that 5 watts is where I think I would see the difference. But MD380 goes for about, I think, $85, $90. MD390, I've seen it go for about $140. and the Radio Oddity GD55 Plus goes for 90 something bucks, and it performs like the MD390. Or, which is my choice, is this one. Simplified screen, easy to see without the bright color screen, dual band, and it's cheap. And it looks like that there's a lot of support for this radio on Radio Oddity's Facebook site. They're constantly coming up with firmware updates. They just came up with one that fixed a few things. There's a couple more things left on it that needs to be fixed, but there's company support. Hytera, you have to go through the dealer, whichever dealer you usually bought it from. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a lot longer than I want it to be. I guess I talk a lot, but like I said, I'm sorry if I said some things that were terminology wrong or wrong information. Main reason I made this was so that I wanted you guys to see what this thing looks like in someone's hand and have someone chit chat about it for a little bit, helping you decide if you want to get it or not. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. KJ for WMQ out.